Welcome to the HPG Blackout. Today, I will cover some of the other events that occurred in the Inner Sphere during the Ilclan era. So buckle up for a long one, as we learn what happened in the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone after the Falcons left for Terra. Before we dive in, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you like deep dives like this and want to see more in the future. In a pivotal historical event, Clan Wolf successfully conquered Terra, significantly affecting the Inner Sphere's trajectory, but due to a widespread HPG network outage, much of the sphere remained unaware of their victory. Amidst this informational vacuum, ambitious individuals seized opportunities for personal power. The unsuccessful clan, largely reduced to rubble on Terra, left a power vacuum in the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone, attracting opportunistic leaders eager to make their mark. Jade Brewer, formerly the Archon of the Lyran Commonwealth, took over former Falcon and Commonwealth worlds, establishing his own domain. Meanwhile, a Lyran general, a merchant queen disillusioned with Falcon, and the remnants of the Falcon warriors under a new leader, each sought to establish their dominion. Mercenaries, fueled by Republic of the Sphere policies, rose to prominence, some even following Callandre Kell's initiative to act independently. With no peace in sight in these hinterlands, the Hell's Horses clan, desiring the Falcon's downfall, lurked on the periphery, signifying upcoming conflicts and the rise of new powers. Duke Jade Brewer, who had once seized control of a great house in the Inner Sphere before losing power, navigated a challenging era of political upheaval. As the Archon of the Lyran Commonwealth, Brewer marked the first time in over 6 centuries that the title was held outside the Steiner lineage. However, his rule faltered against Clan Wolf and Jade Falcon, leading to his removal by the same military and political forces that raised him to power. Following his fall, Brewer retreated to the Commonwealth's fringes, taking shelter in Rapla while maintaining neutrality amidst the rise of the Buena Collective and the Timbuktu Collective. Despite initial hesitations due to past disagreements, Archon Trillian Steiner eventually sought Brewer's assistance against the secessionist Timbuktu state in late 3150. Backed by political and financial support, Brewer moved his forces into the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone in early 3151, where they discovered the absence of the Falcon Tumen and signs of a potential rebellion among the oppressed Lyran populace. This situation suggested an upcoming significant conflict for the control of militia. In 3151, a military force, led by General Brewer, jumped to the militia system for reconnaissance due to an absence of reliable communication. The SIGINT analysis revealed that the 5th Talon had left months ago, and a coalition of resistance cells had established the Milician Republic. The Republic, however, faced an insurgency from nobles backed by the populace and armed with undisclosed weaponry. The Republic relocated to the Rock, a disused fortress, after being ousted from the capital, Europa, by the nobles. Brewer, recognizing the importance of public support, offered alliances to Prime Minister Nicolas Mendez of the Republic and the insurgent leader Graf Yorgos Lascaris. Brewer maintained neutrality, utilizing his troops to maintain peace and provide aid, winning public support. Meanwhile, he discovered that the revolutionaries desired a representative government, while the nobles sought the restoration of their privileges and established ties with a mercantile coalition from Medellin. Through strategic manipulation, Brewer convinced Lascaris to lead an assault on the Republic's fortress, promising support from Brewer's troops. However, Brewer turned against Lascaris during the assault, crushing his forces and securing the loyalty of the remaining nobles with promises of power and estates. With the nobles appeased and the revolutionary government restored, Brewer gained the public's endorsement, promising to protect the representative government formed by the revolutionaries. He then aimed to restore Milicia as a regional power center, the capital of the Vesper marches, and invited all Lyran citizens to join his new nation. Archon Trillian of the Commonwealth initiated Operation Black Ice in response to increasing pressure from the Estates General to combat the seizure of their worlds by clans Jade Falcon and Wolf. Mimicking strategies similar to those of the Federated Sons, the Free Worlds League, and the Capellan Confederation, the Lyran Intelligence Corps launched a campaign to support insurgencies, using stealth tactics to avoid clan detection. The operation focused on planets not yet fully assimilated by the Falcons with a history of successful resistance. In 3150, a covert team known as Kaunas was deployed to Al-Qaeda, supplying rebels with weapons to disrupt the Falcons' assimilation program. The insurgents, armed and knowledgeable of Falcon operations, initiated devastating attacks on clan patrols, administrators, and critical infrastructure, leading to Falcon control collapse within weeks. The successful liberation of Al-Qaeda signaled Operation Black Ice as a triumph, re-establishing hope for the Commonwealth's resistance against the clans. In late 3150, Callandre Steiner of the Commonwealth ordered increased reconnaissance missions into the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone, a decision based on concerns that the Jade Falcons may have acquired fortress wall technology. Reconnaissance ships with lithium fusion batteries discovered aggressive defenses coordinated by the Falcon Watch, revealing valuable insights into Falcon troop deployments. In February 3151, the spy ship jumpship Kerensky's true service returned from the Arcturus system, having covertly observed military installations through secret contacts with free guilds. Analysis of this intelligence revealed a lack of defense in Arcturus due to the redeployment of the 13th Falcon Dragoons. From reports and debriefings, Archon Steiner and General Roderick Steiner inferred that Malvina, Khan of the Jade Falcons, was preparing for a significant attack, possibly against Terra or Tharkad. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the potential threat from Khan Alaric Ward of the Wolf Empire, Archon Steiner authorized escalated reconnaissance raids. Finally, with the revelation that Poboda was undefended, Steiner sent the 11th Donegal Guards to reclaim the planet, achieving victory despite fervent resistance from the Falcon paramilitary garrison. Roderick Steiner assigned Lieutenant General Francine Ross to lead an offensive on Guatavita, a planet rich in natural resources, without strategic industries or military installations. Upon landing in 3151, Ross found no presence of the anticipated Jade Falcons. Instead, he discovered that the Malthus Confederation, a group claiming to originate from remnants of a corporate entity destroyed by the Falcons, was controlling the planet. Recognizing the Confederation as a criminal syndicate, Ross issued a 12-hour ultimatum for them to leave. When the Confederation refused and launched an assault, Ross's 17th Archer and Guards responded fiercely, pushing them into surrender after a brutal close-quarters battle. The liberation was celebrated by the inhabitants, who had suffered under the Confederation. Nonetheless, Ross warned the High Command that the Confederation was part of a more extensive operation posing a significant threat to the region's stability. During this tumultuous time, the Lyran Commonwealth armed forces grappled with the aggressive reconnaissance and strategic facility raids conducted by the clans, pushing their forces and jump ship fleets to their limits. Amid these circumstances, Roderick, the LCAF commander, received word of Vedek Brewer's reappearance on Milicia, where he declared it the capital of his new Vesper marches. This unexpected development added complexity, as Roderick had to convey to Trillian that the LCAF lacked sufficient troops and transport capabilities to respond promptly without risking exposure to clan invasions elsewhere. This predicament forced the LCAF to strategically use their scarce resources to defend Commonwealth worlds against the impending threat from the clans. In 3151, the Falcon-held planet of Arcturus, a significant source of skilled soldiers for the Lyran Commonwealth armed forces, fell to Clan Wolf and Jade Falcon, causing deep concern within the LCAF. Reacting to the loss, the 26th Archer and Guards stationed on Kendersteg, under the command of Hauptmann General Sarah Regis, conducted an intelligence raid on Arcturus, revealing that the Jade Falcons had been absent due to a local revolt. The LCAF subsequently reclaimed Arcturus and several other undefended worlds. However, rather than returning Arcturus to the Lyran Commonwealth, Regis, citing past betrayals and ineptitude, declared Arcturus and the Tamar Pact independent, positioning herself as Governor-General. This event marked the revival of the Tamar Pact in August 3151. Governor-General Regis, aware of the uproar the disclosure of the Tamar Pact would cause within the Inner Sphere, mainly due to her audacious takeover of a well-equipped RCT from the Lyran Commonwealth, strategically recruited elite mercenaries from Candesteg and Galata. However, her 26 guards were riddled with discontent and protests, with many soldiers feeling unjustly branded as traitors, forcing Regis to let the dissenting troops go. Meanwhile, in Blue Diamond, Billy Talltree assumed power, deceitfully halted food exports, and attempted to manipulate arriving Arcturan guards for personal security until the truth was revealed and he was executed. The inhabitants of Kellenfold, loyal to the clan but struggling for survival, agreed to a trial of possession led by Hauptmann Gretchen Becker, leading to the governor donning an Arcturan uniform after a weightlifting contest. However, in Bourges, the military governor and his Salama garrison were killed in a one-sided battle despite the world's self-sufficiency and the silent disapproval of the civilian caste council, marking the re-emergence of the Tamar Pact's flag over the reclaimed world. In 3151, Trillian Steiner felt stressed as Sarah Regis defected, creating the Tamar Pact from worlds under Jade Falcon's control. Despite the new challenge, Steiner hoped the Jade Falcons would handle the situation as her resources were limited. Regis believed the non-aggression policy towards clan territories would offer the Tamar Pact time to strengthen. She restructured her military, splitting the 26th Arcturan Guards into 3 light combat teams and the Homefront Guard for garrison duties. Regis targeted the training center at Kerensky's vision, seeking a triumphant battle. The first Tamar Jaegers swiftly defeated the Falconers there, adding Kerensky's vision as the fifth world of the Tamar Pact. The victory attracted mercenaries, significantly bolstering the Pact's military. Regis secured a loan from the Alina Mercantile League and used the funds to purchase military hardware from a Sea Fox trading vessel, further strengthening the Tamar Pact. However, she realized a more consistent source of battle mechs was necessary. Governor General Regis of the Tamar Pact, anxious about the increasing influence of Kanji Chistu and the Jade Falcon clan on Sudeten, had long coveted the strategically significant planet Pandora and its major military factories. To preempt Chistu's plans and establish dominance, she deployed the 2nd and 3rd Tamar Jaegers, supplemented by the 21st Centauri Lancers. Despite the considerable defenses under Star Colonel Sage, a self-proclaimed leader of Salama warriors with formidable military resources, the Tamar forces, led by Colonel Jeremy Cox, initiated a trial of possession rather than a full-scale invasion on December 23, 3151. After protracted negotiations, Sage agreed to the trial, which took place on the Badlands of the Limbo continent. The battle was fierce, with the Jaegers resorting to a pincer strategy and ultimately calling the Lancers to break the Falcons' desperate defenses. The victory rendered Pandora a part of the Tamar Pact, but at a heavy cost, with over 30% casualties among the Jaegers. The surviving Falcons were offered safe passage to Sudeten, with the Lancers charged with spearheading future actions due to the Jaegers' weakened state. Following her victory on Pandora, Governor General Regis saw a rise in popularity despite warnings from her advisors about the potential overstretching of the Tamar Pact military. While the Pact navigated the complex integration of clan populations, expansion continued on the Corward front with the successful annexation of Balinur and Crimond in January 3152. An emissary from Tomans initiated negotiations for the planet's entry into the Tamar Pact, fearing absorption by the Ghost Bears. Regis, recognizing the value of preserving clan culture, agreed to protect Tomans while maintaining their traditions. In early 3152, Regis slowed the Tamar Pact's expansion, focusing on integration through respect for clan customs. However, the rising threat from Kanji Chistu and Jade Falcon holdouts prompted strategic expansion towards Graceland and Koniz to form a buffer. The unique situations in Graceland, where an alliance was formed with the local governor, and Koniz, where Falcon renegades were defeated, further expanded the Tamar Pact's influence. Regis prioritized slow, careful expansion and respect for clan traditions to facilitate integration. On February 23, 3151, the Kellhounds mercenary group, previously thought to be missing after the devastation of their home planet Ark Royal, made their first confirmed appearance on Hood 4. The group had merged with the remnants of Callandre's hounds and had been operating in the periphery. In May, they arrived at the Jade Falcon-held world of Timkovici, landing near the ruins of Greywalk, a city devastated by their artillery fire in 3142 and further ravaged by Jade Falcon warship Red Talon's orbital fire. As no strategic assets or standing structures existed, the Hounds set up a defensive perimeter unopposed. Colonel Callandre Kell, the group's commander, honored the fallen, including her uncle Evan, in a 3-hour vigil. Upon departure, they left a monument engraved with the names of those who had perished at the site, inscribed with a vow of vengeance is owed. The Kellhounds, expecting opposition from the Jade Falcon garrison, were surprised to leave the system unchallenged and covertly returned to their base in the historically tragic Beta Regulus system. An asteroid obliterated Beta Regulus II during the Third Succession War, an event that was rendered more catastrophic due to the Lyran High Command's inability to evacuate trapped civilians. Despite this, the system became a symbol of resilience, serving as the Kellhounds' staging base and displaying signs of new life. Under the leadership of Callandre, the Hounds, once a depleted battalion, had grown considerably, with both veteran and new members answering her call to arms. This rejuvenation was a testament to the enduring legacy of the House of Kell, with even members several generations removed maintaining unwavering loyalty to the cause. After acknowledging the devastation of Timkovici and the loss of Ark Royal, Callandre became determined to regain her homeworld. Despite the advised caution to rebuild the Hound's strength, she had previously provoked Malvina, leading to the decimation of her people and earning her the nickname Calamity. Undeterred, she launched a new campaign with a singular goal: to liberate Ark Royal from the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone. She left with a battalion of her best soldiers, heading first to Santana to gain control of the defense headquarters. To her astonishment, she found Santana's Falcon garrison absent, having been sent off world months earlier, leaving only paramilitary police. Callandre's forces were met with cooperation and an eager surrender from the civilian government. Information gathered suggested a similar scenario at Ark Royal, albeit with advanced factories and training centers posing a more significant challenge. Callandre dared to accelerate her offensive, seeking to liberate Ark Royal with her current troops before the Falcon's forces could return, marking a bold turning point in her strategy. Callandre's battalion had spent a month on Santana, working towards establishing a provisional government and eliminating hostile guerrillas. Despite political disinterest, Callandre mediated the creation of a new government when negotiations stalled. Meanwhile, she hoped for support from the Clan Wolf and exile enclaves on Inkukans and New Exford for her mission to liberate Ark Royal, but her couriers returned without success as the enclaves were abandoned. Nonetheless, they concluded their work on Santana in August, leaving a stable government, and proceeded with their mission, strategically planning their entry near Ark Royal's moons. The Hound's single combined arms battalion used their mobility to advantage, aiming to secure aerospace superiority. Despite facing challenges from Falcon forces at Lupus Majoris orbital yards, they managed to take control of the shipyard due to their veteran skills and superior strategies. However, they faced minor setbacks when a malfunctioning drive caused a collision at the docking pylon. Ultimately, after the failure of the Broadsword-class dropship, the remaining opposition signaled their surrender, marking a victory for Callandre and her hounds. Callandre adopted an offensive strategy against the Falcon garrison, primarily based in Guttheim. Instead of spreading her forces thin to secure strategic facilities, she directed her troops to land on the Shelf Island archipelago, on the less developed continent Jurekland, from where the Falcon forces couldn't contest them. Callandre led a successful offensive against the Falcon garrison, employing hit-and-run tactics and using precise fire to shatter the cohesion of the enemy unit. Throughout the month, her strike force targeted other Falcon troops. By the end, they crushed the last resistance at Mount Zugspitze. Meanwhile, Major Karl Friedrich's commando teams, who had captured the shipyard, infiltrated cities in Guttheim, spread information about the Kellhound's return, and collected valuable intelligence. Callandre's strategy centered around surgical strikes to weaken Falcon forces, while her teams worked on gathering local support and undermining Falcon control. In September, the Hounds implemented a strategic shift to Guttheim, targeting the Falcon Salama garrison at New Hanover. Despite continuous strikes, the fortified Falcon garrison maintained their defense until the arrival of the Hound reinforcements in the nearby hills. The Falcon cadets fought valiantly, but were eventually overcome by the experienced mercenary forces. Seizing the opportunity, the Hounds triggered a trap, causing the militia resistance forces to take over the Falcons' abandoned defensive positions, leading to their defeat. Callandre managed to control 2 combined arms battalions, using equipment liberated from New Hanover and support from the militia resistance, but maintained a defensive strategy. She ordered valuable equipment to be extracted from the factories for future use, rendering the facilities useless to the Falcons. The Hounds targeted the former Wolves in Exile Enclave in Guttheim, prioritizing the neutralization of Falcon Sibcos at the Grungertel Jungle Training Facility. By the end of September, they encountered resistance from outdated tanks at the facility but swiftly overpowered them. After capturing a senior Falconer, they learned that the remaining garrison awaited their arrival in Old Connaught. Major Friedrich's resistance teams confirmed that Jade Falcon forces sabotaged factories on several planets and threatened to massacre civilians unless the Kellhounds complied with their demands. Callandre rejected options to wait and instead chose to confront the Falcons, leading her forces to a bluff overlooking the planetary capital. In a bold move, Callandre launched an unmanned dropship into the city, decimating the Falcons' defensive formation. In the ensuing battle, the Hound's superior numbers and tactics devastated the Falcons. Star Colonel Riss of the Falcons was killed in an artillery strike, ordered by Callandre, leading to the Kellhounds' victory and liberation of Ark Royal. Following their victory, Callandre pledged to protect the citizens and announced the formation of the Ark Royal Liberty Coalition, aiming to secure freedom for abandoned worlds like Santana and Ark Royal. The mutiny of the 26th Arcturan Guards and the subsequent formation of the Tamar Pact led to significant upheaval in the Inner Sphere, especially for the Loyalists who opted to stay faithful to the Commonwealth. These Loyalists, led by Hauptmann Ronan Carlyle, departed Arcturus in September 3151 and arrived in Lyran space in October, only to find themselves suspected traitors and stranded on Garrison. Amid escalating tensions and local militia revolts, Ronan shifted his allegiance from nations to his people. This led to their rechristening from the 26th Arcturan Guards to the Grey Death Legion. This represented their decision to fight for their people, independent from interstellar politics, marking a significant turning point in their history and dedication to the well-being of their comrades within the Legion. After Clan Hell's horses withdrew from the core-ward periphery, the Republic of the Barons maintained a beneficial alliance with them, serving as a buffer state and receiving support in equipment and training. However, the early 3140s saw the new Oberon Confederation deploying battle mechs, causing significant damage to the Republic. By 3144, the horses mobilized support for the Republic, but were halted by Khan Gottfried Amiralt due to potential threats from the Jade Falcon border. By 3147, the Confederation had also taken over Gustral, and Oberon flagships were establishing a presence in Star's End. In 3150, with the Jade Falcon front quiet, Khan Amiralt authorized a reconnaissance mission into the Barrens. A duel between Galaxy commanders Julian Viors and Joseph Delorel decided the mission's leader, with Delorel emerging victorious. In December 3150, Kappa Galaxy deployed the 12th Rangers from Ica to Star's End, assisted by the Angarag Naval Stars Icegrims and Nagasawas and guided by watch agents. They located a germanium-rich mining site within a debris field, which led to a confrontation with bandit dropships. Most of the bandits were captured after a chase, during which it was learned they were tied to the new Oberon Confederation, exchanging germanium for weapons and logistical aid. However, the pursuit of a separate ship, the Nekahono, was abandoned due to a missile attack on the pursuing Nagasawa vessel, the Tenjulin. Concurrently, at the mining site, the Rangers faced difficulties operating in low-gravity conditions and faced resistance from bandits who used the terrain to their advantage, escaping to a secondary base. This resulted in a considerable loss for the Rangers, including almost an entire binary due to misjudged landings and explosive decompression. After relocating the horses from the Republic of the Barons, post-word of Blake War, they intervened in 3150 when the new Oberon Confederation threatened the Republic. Khan Amiralt dispatched the 12th Rangers to Krelakor and the 22nd Mechanized Assault Cluster to Gustral, where they successfully countered Oberon's forces despite encountering a skilled adversary with a keen understanding of the horses' tactics. Intel suggested that Oberon staged their attacks from Butte Hold, so Sakan Folklassenera commanded a punitive strike led by Star Colonel Susanna Hawker. Despite finding no resistance and Oberon forces already retreated, they uncovered unusual dropship activity in the Throwline Desert. Upon investigating, Hawker's forces came into conflict with Snord's irregulars at a desert dig site, who managed to delay the horses' assault, evacuating vital equipment and making their escape. The prevailing misconception of the warrior class ruling and exploiting the lower castes in clan society was disproven by the complex interdependencies and hierarchies among the castes. Clan Jade Falcon, particularly its merchant caste, led by merchant factor Marina, played a significant role in supporting the clan's operations. Marina introduced vault ships, converted mule-class dropships filled with liquid assets, instrumental in stabilizing the clan economy post-blackout. However, under Khan Malvina Hazen's rule, Marina grappled with the Khan's excessive financial demands, prompting her to protect her caste and clan's finances through deception. With the blackout crisis worsening and Malvina's likely demise, Marina saw the chance to build a commerce-based nation using the wealth within vault ships. She neutralized threats, including the Solama warriors guarding Factory Zone 4, enabling her to seize control of the factory and further her vision. Once Marina gained control of Alina, she initiated plans to expand her rule to other worlds, despite most of it being controlled by the Falcons and Clan Sea Fox. Recognizing the importance of maintaining good relations with the Sea Foxes, Marina allied with Duran, an ambitious merchant who managed the Falcons' enclaves on Twycross. After 20 hours of negotiation, a mutually beneficial agreement was brokered, resulting in the Sea Fox's formal recognition of Marina's fledgling state. Next, Marina added Waldorf to her territory, though its strategic value was secondary to the prospects it offered for further conquests. The building blocks of her empire were thus laid, and in July 3151, she declared the establishment of the Alina Mercantile League. Focusing on commerce rather than warfare, she presented her realm as an ally, not a competitor, to Clan Sea Fox, diffusing potential conflicts. The League welcomed those with business intentions, but gave short shrift to malicious entrants, underlining the commitment to a secure and prosperous region. In August 3151, Alina was informed that Clan Hell's horses had terminated all contracts with Clan Jade Falcon. While suffering some losses, Vault Ship Delta successfully protected its resources and reinforced the mercantile militia. However, similar incidents occurred with other Vault ships, leading to nullifying contracts with the Wolf Empire. Vault Ship Gamma allied with the new Jade Falcon clan on Suda 10. But Syndic Marina viewed the clan's Khan, Gi Chistu, with suspicion. Meanwhile, a pirate raid near Alina's Factory Zone 4 captured some battle mechs, prompting Marina to consider hiring mercenaries to augment the mercantile militia. Simultaneously, emissaries were sent to neighboring worlds to seek alliances, with Blackjack being of particular interest due to its Jade Falcon school of conflict. However, an alliance with Vede Brewer, ruler of the Vesper Marches, seemed unfeasible due to his overbearing nature. In a turn of events, a renowned mercenary company, the Lone Wolves, arrived seeking work and effectively deterred a second pirate raid on Alina. This success led Marina to anticipate the arrival of more mercenaries, marking a strategic shift in the Merchant League's defensive efforts. In October, Factor Helen returned from Kenderstag with loan contracts and a force of mercenaries for the Alina Mercantile League. These mercenaries were assigned to Twycross and Waldorf. Meanwhile, the League's banking branch thrived, offering loans to former Jade Falcon holdings, with the Butler shipyards being a key acquisition. Integrating mercenaries proved difficult, with numerous altercations between them and established forces. The situation peaked when a Tread of Doom mercenary unit member killed a freeborn infantryman, sparking a violent outbreak that resulted in the theft of a small vault from the Jade Depository. This incident prompted Syndic Marina to consider dismissing the mercenaries. However, Major Mikhail of the Lone Wolves defended them, and after hearing of successful defense missions, Marina instead imposed stricter discipline in their contracts. Star Colonel Margolian was also tasked with creating a loyal militia from local freeborn, addressing the need for a more robust internal military presence. Marina also hinted at establishing a Sibco training center to cultivate homegrown talent. The mercenaries' star, Galatea, witnessed a significant stir when Factor Kyung-mi arrived, offering contracts at 30% higher rates. Within minutes, many mercenary units opted for her generous offers, which continued to attract numerous smaller companies over the next week. With the logistical support from Steve's stevedores, Kyung-mi accumulated nearly 3 regiments of mercenaries, solidifying the Galatean League's influence in the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone. Meanwhile, a rebellion led by Free Guild citizens seized control of Gaspar in the Galatean League, leading to an embargo and subsequent starvation. The crisis was resolved with assistance from Alina Mercenary Liaison's mediator, which impressed the Butler Council enough to join the Galatean League. Despite stretched resources, incoming units from Galatea bolstered the League's mercantile militia, fortifying their military prowess and positioning through valuable training from the Raging Horde. In December 3151, Syndic Marian negotiated the inclusion of Passig, Goatpath, and Kukin's Pleasure Pit into the Alina Mercantile League, focusing on rejuvenating Kokin's leisure industry to attract Lyran nobles. The key target remained a world of blackjack, controlled by Star Colonel Derek Jane Cleese of the Jade Falcon School of Conflict. Cleese eventually agreed to join the League if Morayan could win a trial of possession comprised of 3 trials reflecting different service branches. Despite the cadets' fierce resistance, the AML forces triumphed. As a result, Cleese handed control of blackjack to Marian but took his life, believing he had no place in the League's future. Morayan's strategic efforts within 6 months solidified AML's power. They promised a future filled with opportunities for its constituents, especially with the additional support from Clan Seafox and enhanced military production capacity. During the Jade Falcon's advance towards Terra, Star Captain Gi Chistu of the 5th Battle Cluster became disillusioned with Khan Malvina Hazen's brutal tactics. He believed in the Falcon's right to rule Terra, but preferred victory through honorable combat. G was respected among the Jade Falcons for his battlefield strategies and understanding of human psychology. Despite the Falcons' initial success against the Lyran Commonwealth and the Republic of the Sphere, he grew concerned about their ability to hold territories and potential strikes from offended clans. G's disapproval of Malvina led him to secure a temporary reassignment to Vault Ship Gamma, where he worked on plans for the clan's future. By mid-3151, G had transformed the demoralized warriors into a formidable force. When the Falcons suffered a devastating defeat, G seized the opportunity to propose his vision to the survivors. He urged them to utilize their resources, Vault Ship Gamma's wealth, and connections to rebuild their clan rather than submitting to Clan Wolf. The survivors unanimously voted to follow Gi's path, leading to the reconstitution of the Jade Falcons under his leadership. In early September, Khan Gi Chistu was made aware of Vedit Brewer's declaration of the Vesper Marches and an attempt to resurrect the Tamar Pact on Arcturus. Anticipating attacks on Falcon territory and fragmentation, G reached out to Syndic Marina of the Alina Mercantile League, seeking an alliance. He also focused on rebuilding his clan by recruiting and promoting aging warriors, including one named Cosmo, who showed exceptional loyalty. GI traveled to Graus, where he upgraded the defense and initiated a recruitment drive among the local populace. Afterward, he journeyed to Damper, facing a tense confrontation with the Solama garrison commander Star Captain Engels, but successfully secured resources for his clan. Upon returning to Sudeten, he began creating new sibcos and expanding his force. Despite valuing freeborns and lower castes, GE intended leadership to be reserved for trueborn warriors, offering trials of founding to exceptional freeborns. In October, Marina declined GI's alliance offer, proposed that he join the Alina Mercantile League instead, and ridiculed his khanship. Despite the challenges, GE chose to uphold the clan's principles, aiming to lead his clan as a warrior. Khan Ji, despite commanding well-equipped forces, faced a deficiency of skilled warriors. He intercepted ghost bears, training a large class of sibcos on quarrel as a solution. GI went to quarrel with his best warriors, where he challenged Star Colonel Emilio Hall of the Ghost Bears to a trial of possession for the class of young warriors. The subsequent battle saw GE employ strategic positioning and innovative tactics, confounding the Ghost Bears, who were expecting Mongol tactics. GI's forces successfully trapped the bears, leading to a final duel between GI and Hall, with GI emerging victorious. Despite the victory, GE lost many of his forces, but acquired over 50 potential warriors and several Ghost Bear bondsmen. The young trainees expressed their desire to return to the Ghost Bears, but GI assured them they would have the opportunity to earn glory as members of the Jade Falcons. Upon returning to Sudeten, Merchant Factor Jodine was irate that Khan GI had planned to risk her vaultship. However, GI praised her enthusiasm, stating that all castes need respect to maintain the Jade Falcons. After resolving this, GE discovered a shortage in material shipments from Damper. He traveled there, finding that Star Captain Engels had led a hedonistic and negligent rule, resulting in revolts and suffering among Damper's citizens. GI removed Engels, provided supplies to the outer colonies, and directly addressed the citizens about an upcoming change in leadership. Saint Remy resisted GE's entry, leading him to deploy a trinary of battle armor to capture the city leaders. After a brief conflict, the leaders capitulated, and GE demanded that full production resume. He later assigned Pierce as Damper's overseer, and with limited warrior interference, the system's morale and production improved significantly. Despite Engels' disappearance during the Saint Remy skirmish, GI remained unconcerned and approved an increase in work credits for the laborers in Damper's mines. In 3151, Khan GI Chistu led the Jade Falcon clan into a period of stability, uniting diverse groups and preparing them for potential threats despite strained resources. Despite a surplus of military production, the clan faced a shortage of technical personnel. An unexpected opportunity arose when Syndic Marina of the Alina Mercantile League offered refuge to 20,000 dissidents, filling the labor and technician gaps. The Lone Wolves mercenary unit also approached GI, leading to his decision to use them for intelligence on the mercantile militia. On March 3, 3152, the clan faced an unexpected invasion by the Hell's Horses. This invasion, rather than a mere test, represented a determined effort to eradicate the Jade Falcons, testing their unity and readiness under Khan G's leadership. Following the declaration of independence in March, Brewer prepared his forces for potential retaliation from Tharkat. He fortified militia and turned the rock into the command center for the Vesper marches. Brewer also established trade with Medellin, securing resources to reconstruct a damaged industry plant. Concurrently, he dispatched missions to liberate strategic systems. In Chapultepec, despite initial resistance, the arrival of the Hesperus Guards was met with joy by the defenders, who believed them to be allies. However, in Annunziata, the Guards faced severe opposition from the Falcon paramilitary, culminating in a tragic shootout in a cathedral, resulting in civilian casualties. The religious council absolved the Guards, attributing the events to divine will. The Guards also faced strong resistance in Meshida, but eventually prevailed. In Claremont, they overcame the obstacle of an explosive rigged Falcon base situated on a volcano by causing a controlled eruption. The Guards were hailed as saviors on both Chapultepec and Claremont, with the citizens unaware of their allegiance to Brewer. After successfully expelling the new Oberon Confederation from the Republic of the Barons, the Horse Khans turned their attention to Terra amid reports of intense battles among the Falcons, Wolves, and the remnants of the Republic of the Sphere. Seizing the opportunity presented by the Falcons' divided attention, Khan Amirawald sent the Second Horde cluster to Shala to initiate a trial of possession, encountering minimal resistance due to the Falcon garrison's departure for Terra. Concerned that his rivals were on the brink of securing the title of Ilclan, Emerald sought an advantage, ignoring Sakhan Lasanira's suggestion of a large-scale invasion of Falcon territories due to fear of Ghost Bear retaliation. The Khans then focused on Terra, sending units from the Alpha, Delta, and Epsilon galaxies for a strategic drive. The Firehorse Galaxy led the vanguard, successfully commencing operations and taking possession of Rastaban, Wheel, and Domain with little resistance, indicating the Falcons' diminished forces. Finally, in April, Khan Amirowalt and Sakhan Lasanera led their entire warship fleet towards Terra, aiming to challenge for the prestigious title of Ilclan. Terra's couriers intercepted the Horse Clan fleet in transit, inviting them to meet with Ilkan Alaric Ward, who revealed his victory over Malvina's Falcons and Stone's Republic, securing Terra and his status as Ilclan. Horsekan Amiralt unsuccessfully contested this, leading to strategic revisions for Operation Stampede to strengthen the clan's position for future conflicts. Upon returning to their occupation zone, Amiralt and Falk reoriented their strategy towards annexing Falcon territory as a resource base for confronting the Wolves and any other clan recognizing Alaric's authority. The subsequent phase of Operation Stampede faced setbacks due to communication issues and unauthorized raids disrupting jumpship positioning. Nevertheless, by November, an expansive two-pronged assault was underway, targeting both Rimward and Coreward territories. Meanwhile, several galaxies remained vigilant for potential aggression from the Ghost Bears, setting the stage for a sprawling conflict within the Inner Sphere as the Horse Clan sought to challenge the Wolves' dominance while managing alliances and threats from other regional clans. In November, Alpha Galaxy forces expanded Rimward in the Inner Sphere, encountering minor resistance and swiftly conquering the worlds of Suk 2, Lagrave, and Orkney. These worlds, previously oppressed by the Falcons, welcomed the Horses. The Falcons had exploited the former Wolves, creating resentment that eased the Horses' transition. The only significant resistance occurred on Lagrave when Falcon Watch agents triggered an avalanche to block the Horses' progress. Simultaneously, the Firehorse Galaxy targeted Montmarald and Benfled, worlds with deep-rooted Falcon loyalties. Despite the garrison on Montmarald proposing a traditional clan combat ritual, Khan Amiralt denied them any privileges. The 97th Mechanized Cavalry swiftly defeated the small Falcon contingent on Montmarald, and the 1st Horde cluster effortlessly overpowered the Falcon units on Benfled, quickly quelling any resistance. In the November offensive, Horse forces launched strategic assaults on various locations. Omega Galaxy's 7th Rangers moved to Erewhon, the 5th Rangers to Anywhere, and the 9th to Wotan, while Beta's 666th Mechanized Assault Cluster gained control of Golandrinas. Concurrently, Kappa's 13th Rangers established a logistics center in the Erit Cluster within the Dark Nebula, crucial for the Stampede offensive. In December, these Rangers partnered with Omega's 91st Battlemech Cluster for a joint assault on Somerset, intending to capture the Somaport Sibco training facility. However, they found the Academy abandoned and booby-trapped. After deploying garrisons on Bone Norman, the 5th and 7th Rangers encountered an unexpected absence of Falcon garrison troops. They faced numerous hurdles, including active minefields, artillery fire, and a gruesome scene of carnage within the Planetary Defense Headquarters. These operations highlighted the complex dynamics of Inner Sphere history, the prowess of the Ranger units, and the brutal reality of warfare, with the absence of Falcon garrison troops adding an element of mystery to the conflict. The Stampede forces advanced against Black Earth, Beta 7, and Barcelona at the start of the year. They discovered Star Colonel Moko, Barcelona's Solama forces leader, had amassed an army to establish a proto-state called the Turkina Ascendancy, with Barcelona as its capital. On their arrival, the Horses faced harsh winter conditions and ambushes from the Ascendancy, which disrupted their initial advances and cut off their route back to their dropships. Star Colonel Loretta Fletcher led the Horses to breach the Ascendancy's defensive line and escape encirclement. After weeks of evenly matched skirmishes, the Horses gained air superiority as the weather conditions eased in late February. This edge helped them surround and destroy isolated enemy elements. The showdown in early March led to the Turkina Ascendancy forces' destruction and Barcelona's surrender. The 5th Rangers successfully took control of the world, concluding their campaign. In March 3152, the 666th Mechanized Assault Cluster secured important mines in Hot Springs, despite skirmishes with Bandit Caste, led by Anti-Khan Jamuka. After a competitive bid, Star Commander Varden Juan Star eliminated Jamuka using only 3 battle armor suits. Meanwhile, on Malabar, the 9th Rangers were welcomed by locals, but faced challenges when a relic from the Reunification War caused a nuclear explosion, contaminating a significant portion of Malibu City. The 13th Rangers and 91st BattleTech cluster took over Somerset and Black Earth, but the fleeing defenders destroyed the latter's petrochemical resources. The 91st BattleTech cluster also encountered unexpected resistance on Mogia Road from a group called the Vesper Marches, a part of the Lyran Commonwealth. After substantial losses, Star Colonel Jeanhorn retreated to Black Earth and notified the Khans of a potential Lyran threat within the Falcon Occupation Zone. In late 3151 and early 3152, the Vesper Marches under Duke Brewer expanded with minor resistance, gaining control over Jessenice, Pankalan, Kolovrati, and Kikui, and even contemplated annexing more using his influence within the Lyran Commonwealth. However, in March 3152, alarming reports from Mogia Road concerning a potential clan assault prompted Brewer to reconsider, remembering the devastation of prior clan invasions. Brewer, acknowledging the Vesper March's insufficiency to face such threats alone, contacted Arcturus to propose a strategic alliance among the Lyran Commonwealth splinter realms. Brewer's proposed defensive coalition aimed to unite resources against the expansionist clan Sea Fox. His message to Arcturus stressed unity against formidable enemies, drawing on historical lessons and aiming to forge cooperation and stability within the Lyran Commonwealth. Khan Gi Chistu, in the hope of a peaceful resolution, initially extended an invitation to the Hell's Horses for a trial on Sudeten. His attempts were rebuffed, forcing him to prepare for a conflict. Given a short, 4-day preparation time, G assembled a force of the 1st Falcon Sentinels, Sudeten Garrison Cluster, young Ghost Bear adoptees, and Malvina's fledglings to stand against the horses. Instead of directly engaging the superior enemy fleet, GI adopted strategic deception, protecting crucial assets and using the time to drill his forces in the horses' tactics. His clan, including labor caste personnel, technicians, and doctors, united in the face of adversity, contributing to fortification efforts and preparing to support the warriors. Thus, despite the daunting odds, the Jade Falcons prepared to face the Hell's Horses with cunning strategy and unwavering solidarity. The Battle of Sudeten was sparked by the Falcons' Roost orbital assembly plant and saw heavy conflict between Hell's Horses and Jade Falcons. Initially, outnumbered Scytha and Persepolis fighters inflicted significant damage on the horses, causing a temporary retreat, but the horses faced no resistance from the lower castes on board the Roost. Despite an initial unopposed victory, Horses leaders Folk Lasanera and Khan Amiraalt disagreed on their adversaries' strength. On March 7th, 3152, the horses launched a surprise attack on Hammer, only to find it abandoned, with Falcons hidden within. The skirmishes culminated at the spaceport, where the seemingly inoperative Icegrim-class ship, Odysseus, sprang a devastating surprise attack on the horses, causing significant losses and a retreat. Leaders argued over tactics, with Amiraalt cautioning while Lasanera leaned towards aggression. Meanwhile, Star Colonel Wilson Amirawalt's 39th Mechanized Assault Cluster landed near Trellshire Heavy Industries on the Holcomb continent, where they forced the defending Falcons into retreat, sealing them inside a mine and breaching the factory wall. Just as victory seemed inevitable, however, the unexpected arrival of the Lone Wolves disrupted the situation, resulting in a tense standoff between the two forces. Khan Amirawalt had anticipated a swift victory against the disorganized Falcons, led by Gi Chistu, but was drawn into a complex urban conflict within the abandoned city of Hamar. The Falcons utilized the city's infrastructure to evade the horse patrols, frustrating efforts to corner them. However, the horses gradually advanced, typically triumphing in confrontations. Struggling with doubt, Amirawalt proposed a trial of possession for the planet, which was met with silence from the Falcons. A fortunate discovery of a broken holoprojector offered potential intelligence, while an aggressive attack led by Chistu forced the Horse Khans to strategize an end to the conflict. Despite the retreat of the Falcon leader, Khan Lasanera insisted on a pursuit that led to a large gathering of horse forces in Hammer's eastern district, ready for a decisive battle. In a tense standoff at Trellshire, Star Colonel Wilson Amirawalt of the Hell's Horses attempted unsuccessfully to seize a factory, despite challenges from Falcon infantry and unexpected ground attacks that decimated his command center. Simultaneously, the Hell's Horses' 39th Force, led by the Omega Keshik, was drawn into a city ambush by the Falcon forces under Gi Chistu's command, leading to heavy losses. Despite initial misjudgment, the Falcons had hidden a larger force using holoprojectors, surprising the horses and rendering their cavalry tactics useless. Faced with this deception, Amirawalt acknowledged his defeat and called for a retreat. The Hell's Horses left Sudeten 4 days after their arrival, leaving the Jade Falcons to celebrate their victory. Jade Falcon's success relied on holoprojectors, concealing their forces, and the unwavering faith in Khan Chistu's plan, enhancing their unity and strength. Following their victory, the freeborn Star Colonel Teresa was elected Sakhan, and Major Heidegger and the Lone Wolves received recognition for their courage. The task of rebuilding Hammer was left to the Jade Falcons, ensuring Sudeten remained under their control, showcasing their resilience. Following the Sudeten disaster, the Horse-Khans had to re-evaluate their plans for Operation Stampede due to the emergence of well-defended factions in the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone. Khan Amiralt, already under strain, received word of attacks within their own OZ, not from the feared retaliation of the Rasselhague Dominion, but from various factions targeting periphery worlds near their capital on Sestreg. The diverse attacking factions, from the new Oberon Confederation to Black Dragon pirates and numerous mercenary groups, were unified under House Rikel's banner, led by the infamous Red Hunter, Abdun, identifiable by his black and red marauder. In retrospect, Abdun's seemingly random attacks on clans were part of a strategic campaign to form a formidable personal army under House Rikel, posing a substantial threat to the Horse-Khans. During Operation Stampede, Inner Sphere forces advanced into the Falcon Occupation Zone, causing the Hell's Horses Watch to interrogate free guild crews and infiltrate potential targets for their defensive value. By late 3151, they noticed the Alina Mercantile League gaining power, leading Khan Amiralt to authorize a raid. Galaxy Commander Lauren Akaza rejected Star Colonel Jacinta Cooper's request to deploy her 77th Mechanized Cavalry, sending an ad hoc Solama garrison instead. In April 3152, the Hell's Horses targeted the strategically important Butler shipyards without a customary trial of possession. The Hell's Horses were surprised by the AML's concealed defense forces. The Sassanid, part of the Horses' strike force, was taken down by the AML's Sea Eagle, leaving the Horses' jump ship vulnerable. The AML subsequently disabled the Horses' War, claimed it as a prize, and began salvage operations, even renaming the Invader-class jump ship the Gift Horse. During a period of defeats for the Hell's Horses, Sakhan Folk Lasanera accused Khan Gottfried Amiralt of hampering the clan's progress through hesitation and bad alliances. The accusations were brought before the clan council on Kolmar, highlighting alliances with Jade Falcons and Ghost Bears and his inability to mobilize forces for crucial battles for Terra. Lasanera also criticized Amiralalt's strategic inaction after the initial stampede and his indecision during the conquest of Sudeten. The clan council supported a trial of position, leading to a battle between Amiralt and Lasanera on a tiny tropical atoll in the Mare Requiem. Despite initially struggling, Lasanera triumphed, killing Amiralt with a precise strike from his Genghis fighter. As the sole survivor, Lasanera was mandated to implement the Mongol doctrine, leading the Hell's Horses with a newfound purpose toward their destiny. In May 3151, the 3rd Tamar Jaegers, supported by the mercenary group, the Metallicon, landed covertly on Blair Athol to investigate a potential jump ship presence. They found a Falcon dropship offloading supplies, prompting Commandant Oscar Price to test their defenses. Instead of the anticipated second-line machines, they were met by the 1st Falcon Sentinel's superior battle mechs. The Falcons were formidable opponents for the Tamar forces. Persistent skirmishes ensued, but the Falcons' strategic caution kept them from falling into the Jaegers' traps. Price initiated a direct attack, only to be met by a surprising ambush from the Falcons' elementals and mechs. The arrival of the Metallicon and Jaeger's armor units staved off their pursuit, allowing them to withdraw. Despite their retreat, the Tamar Pact remained committed to securing Blair Athol, recognizing the formidable resistance presented by the Falcons. Under Borgese's leadership, the Tamar Pact grew in unity and peace. Despite challenges at Blair Athol, Sarah Regis's vision for the Pact was advancing as planned. On June 6, 3152, a trading vessel from the Alina Mercantile League arrived with a proposal for an alliance from Syndic Marina against their common adversaries. Although the AML had been a reliable business partner, Regis was wary about the potential dominance of AML in the event of a weakened Tamar Pact post-conflict. Additionally, interest from the Lyran Commonwealth, especially the forthcoming visit from respected veteran Roderick Steiner, signaled a potential change in dynamics. As the Tamar Pact celebrated its first year, it encountered a new challenge as Clan Ghostbear engaged with the 1st Jaegers on Tamans, causing concern within its leadership. Despite the hurdles, Regis found pride in her thriving homeworld, Arcturus, once part of the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone. Callandre Kell successfully established the Arc Royal Liberty Coalition on her homeworld and informed the Kell Hounds stationed on Beta Regulus 2A about her endeavors and plans. Needing raw materials to build defenses for Ark Royal and the defenseless Lyran people, she sent the Kellhounds to liberate the worlds of Zenderijay, Great X, and Sargasso in February 3152. The first company, led by Captain Keith Langenhaas, quelled an uprising and invited the rebel leaders to join the new coalition. The second company, under Captain Timurbek Almazov, coordinated with local guerrillas on Sargasso to dismantle the Falcon paramilitary forces stationed there following a siege that lasted 2 days. The third company faced internal rivalry on Great X, nearly leading to their destruction, but was saved by the Black Cats, a mercenary infantry unit. The Cats later accepted an invitation to join the Ark Royal Liberty Coalition, solidifying Kell's growing alliance. In May 3152, Callandre quickly established the governing structure of the Ark Royal Liberty Coalition after successfully liberating the targeted systems. She announced the coalition's existence to the inner sphere, attracting various factions seeking alliances and aid. Significant representatives from the Tamar Pact and Vesper Marches offered proposals for collaboration, expressing solidarity and offering recognition, respectively. A pivotal event occurred when Grafina and Jay Kelswa, emissary of Archon Trillian Steiner, summoned Callandre to Tharkad. Callandre resolutely replied her mercenary unit. The Kellhounds would not submit. As a result, Ark Royal became a complex nexus of alliances, confrontations, and interests. The emergence of the ARLC provided sanctuary for Lyran supporters and sparked aspirations across the inner sphere, setting the stage for an impending battle over ideologies, loyalties, and power. Thanks for watching. I know this one was longer, but you kept asking for more and greater detail. Let me know in the comments below if you want more like this, or if this should be broken up into multiple parts. We will see you next time, and remember, Comstar is the phone company you do not want to mess with.